everyone and welcome back to the Lewis Pickering Football Show. On today's episode I'm going to be reviewing game week 3 of the Sky Bet Championship, seeing what I thought of the games and what I predicted and what points I scored. And after that I'll move on to game week 4 and give my preview of what games are coming up, how I think they'll go and what score predictions I'll be given for this weekend. So as always I'll do 4 games at a time. There's 12 games in the Championship this week and I'll review them 4 games at a time. Start with the Friday night fixture between Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest. I said 0-0, I said it wouldn't be a great spectacle for the fans, and I think I was right. I watched the game. It wasn't a great watch, to be honest, but Huddersfield won't care. 1-0, Fraser Campbell, great goal, and Huddersfield get their first 3 points on the table. Forest are in turmoil. I think the manager's got to be under pressure now. But 1-0 at Huddersfield, no points for me, but Huddersfield won't care that it was a poor game, and well done to Huddersfield getting the first 3 points on the board. Let's move on to the 12:30 kick-off between Watford and Luton. Both were unbeaten coming into this game. I said Luton would be full of confidence, and I think they were. I think there was nothing in the game. I said Watford would win. It'd be a tight game, and Watford would win by 1 goal. Shame for me. I said 2-1 to Watford. It was actually 1-0, but no harm for Luton. I thought they acquitted themselves really well. But Watford, yet to concede a goal, just looked like they're destined back for the Premier League, in my opinion. Yeah, but I said 2-1, and that's a 1 point for me. Let's move on to Wycombe v Swansea, the 12:30 game on Sky Sports. I thought it was super comfortable. I said it'd be super comfortable for Swansea, and it was comfortable as you like. 2-0 after the first half, and then second half Wycombe just didn't look getting back in it. I'd said 2-0 to Swansea, and it was 2-0 to Swansea. First correct score, that's 2 points for me. I thought Swansea could have pushed on and got more, but they were just comfortable with the 2-0. I think if Wycombe had scored, Swansea would have pushed up another gear. But yeah, Wycombe, I'm sorry, but it's relegation. I hope you start picking up a few points and it's just not a totally disastrous season for you. But yeah, 2 points for me, and well done to the Swans. Yet to concede a goal, the Swans as well. Them and Watford both yet to concede a goal. Great after 3 games. And now we move on to Barnsley v Coventry. I got this one all wrong. I said it'd be a goal fest 2-all. It was actually 0-0. I ended up getting a point, even though I was miles away. I'll take that. But I think for Coventry, any point away in the Championship's good. Keep a clean sheet, get a point away from home. I think Coventry would take that all day of the week. I think anything, it's hard to go away in the Championship and get points, especially when you've just come up. So fair play to Coventry, and Barnsley got their first point on the board as well. So 0-0 and another point for me. That's 4 points out of the first 4 games. I'm absolutely flying. Now let's move on to the next 4, the middle 4 of my review of the Championship game week. Let's move on to St Andrews and Birmingham v Rotherham. Never going to be a cracker, never going to be plenty of goals until the final 15 minutes there was no goals, and then 2 quick fire goals, 1 for Rotherham and 1 for Birmingham. I said 1-0 to Birmingham. It was actually 1-1 goal off a correct score. But like I said with Coventry, I'll say it with Rotherham as well. Just come up a point away at St Andrews is always a great result in my opinion. So fair play to Rotherham, no points for me. Next up we move on to the high flyers, Reading, 9 points, 3 games. What a start. They go to Cardiff City. I said Cardiff City don't get beat 2 games in a row at home. I was wrong, obviously I was wrong. I said 2-1 Cardiff, it was actually 2-1 Reading. Fair play to Reading, absolutely proving me and everybody wrong. I'm sure they were 4th or 5th favourites to be relegated this season, Reading. Cardiff won away, lost 2 at home. Not like Cardiff City at all. Neil Harris will want to sort that out sooner rather than later. But yeah, fair play to Reading, 9 points, absolutely flying. No points for me on that one. And now we move on to Derby County. Where do I start, Derby fans? Cocu's got to be under pressure. He's got to be under pressure. 4-0 at home by Blackburn Rovers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Blackburn are flying. 5-0 at home last week. 4-0 away. Like Adam Armstrong, absolutely flying with the goals, and they look like a great team, Blackburn, at the moment. But 4-0 at home is just absolute. You just can't be getting beat 4-0 at home by a team who I think you're very similar to. It's not as if you're getting beat by a team that are well above you, that I think will finish well above you. But yeah, for me, Cocu's got to be under pressure. It wouldn't surprise me next week if they don't get a result. The Cocu's gone. But yeah, Derby fans, if any of you's watched, let me know in the comments. Do you want Cocu to stay or do you want him to go? I said 1-1. I said it'd be the tightest game of the weekend, and Blackburn absolutely smashed me out the water. But fair play to Blackburn. Like I said, 9 goals in 2 games in the Championship. Brilliant. fair play to Tony Mowbray. No points again. Common theme. Yeah, let's move on to the last one. We've got Millwall v Brentford. I said 2-1 to Brentford. It was actually 1-1. Millwall, another point. Millwall's so hard to beat at the Den. Even when they don't play that great, which I heard Brentford, it was quite a tight game. They just don't seem to get beat much at the Den. I thought Brentford might nick it 2-1, but they didn't. But yeah, a point for each, and I don't think either will be displeased. I think they'll both want to be in the playoffs this season, and a point for each might come in handy at the end of the season. Now let's move on to the last four. And now let's move on to the final 4 games of the Championship weekend, which I'm going to review. Let's start at Deepdale with Preston v Stoke. Always going to be a tight game, Preston v Stoke, 2 very similar teams. And when Tom Barkhausen got sent off for the home side, you fancied Stoke to go on and win, which they duly did. 1-0, Lee Gregory with the goal, and Stoke City with their first 3 points on the board. I actually said 1-0 to Stoke, so it's a great prediction, and it's 2 points on the board for me. And now let's move on to Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers v Martin Middlesbrough. I said with Warnock, we're never out of games, and I feel like draws will be a common theme in Middlesbrough's games this season. I said 2-2, and it was actually 1-1, so I get a point for that. Chuba Akpom on his debut gets his first goal for Middlesbrough, and hopefully he'll score a lot of goals in the Championship. But yeah, a point each, and on to next week for both teams. And now we move on to the other team with Reading, who've got 3 wins out of 3. Bristol City, fair play, 3 wins out of 3. Little shout out to Alfie Mawson, who's come in from Fulham on loan. They play 3 at the back, and he plays middle of the centre halves. He's got man of the match 2 out of the 3 games, and the way Fulham are going in the Premier League, you might think that they've let the wrong centre half go out on loan. But Bristol City won't care. 3 wins out of 3. Two goals in the second half, 2-0 at home to Sheffield Wednesday. I actually said 2-1, so I was quite unlucky there, just needed a Sheff Wed goal. But yeah, I get a point for that, but fair play to Bristol City, 3 wins out of 3. Cracking start to the season, well done. And now we move on to the biggest game that I said of the Championship weekend. The 2 relegated teams, Bournemouth and Norwich, had both started off pretty well. Bournemouth and Norwich, both 4 points, both unbeaten. I said whoever wins this game, it'll be a great confidence boost. I backed Norwich, but it was Bournemouth 1-0, and I honestly believe it'll give Bournemouth so much confidence. Beating Norwich, I think, a team that are definitely going to be up there with you. I think it's like a 6-pointer. It's definitely going to be 2 teams who are up there at the end of the season. I think Bournemouth will really kick on now, and they'll fancy themselves for the Championship title. That's no points for me on that game, but fair play to Bournemouth. 4 points again out of this one, so I got 4 points on the first 4 review, no points on the second, and 4 points on the third. 8 points, my highest score by far. 5 was my last week. 8 points. I'm really happy with that 8 points. Hopefully I can beat it again next week. But now I'm going to move on to next week and see what predictions I'm going to pick for game week 4 of the Sky Bet Championship. And as always, we'll start with the Friday night game on Sky Sports. Coventry City at home again, second home game in a row Friday night. Last time they were at home, they won 3-2 against Birmingham City. Coventry will be hoping for the same result. But I'm going to back Bournemouth. I know the Coventry fans in the comments always comment. I just think Bournemouth will be a bit too strong for you. I don't think it'll be a whitewash. But Bournemouth's win against Norwich give them so much confidence. I'm going to back a tight 2-1 win to Bournemouth at Coventry. Next up we have Norwich City v Derby County at Carrow Road, 12:30 kick-off on Sky Sports. I said in my review, I said if Koku loses, I think he's bang under pressure and he might get sacked. And I'm going to back him to lose. Norwich at home, not the greatest result against Preston in the first home game with a 2-2 draw, but with Derby conceding 4 at home to Blackburn, I just don't see anything but a Norwich win. I'm not even going to back Derby to score. 2-0 comfortable Norwich and Koku bang under pressure. And now we move on to Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers against Cardiff City. Blackburn Rovers, the top scorers in the Championship, 11 goals in just 3 games. The second behind, that's 6 goals. Blackburn absolutely flying. 9 goals in the last 2 games, and their confidence must be so high. I'm gonna go with form. 9 goals in the last 2 games. And Blackburn are very good at home. I'm going to back them again for a win, 2-1 at home at Cardiff City. Adam Armstrong yet again to get on the score sheet. Next up at the 3 o'clockers, we have Luton Town v Wycombe Wanderers at Kenilworth Road. Luton very unlucky in their defeat away at Watford last week, but before that they'd won 2 out of 2. Yet again, sorry Wycombe fans, I'm going to back a Luton win. I think it'll be a bit tighter. I'm going to back Wycombe to get a goal, but I'm going to back Luton to get back on track. 2-1 at Kenilworth Road to Luton Town. Next to the 3 o'clockers takes us to the Riverside Stadium when we have Middlesbrough v Barnsley. Barnsley got their first point on the board last week in a home draw, home to Coventry City, 0-0. But worryingly for Barnsley fans, they haven't scored a goal in 3 games. 0-1 at home to Luton, 2-0 away to Reading, and then 0-0 at home. I'm hoping for Middlesbrough's sake that run continues. I'm going to back it to continue. Tight game, Middlesbrough to get the only goal, 1-0 at the Riverside. Next up with the 3 o'clockers, we move on to the City Ground and Nottingham Forest. What is happening, Forest fans? 3 games, no wins, no goals. What's happening? And then worst of all for Forest, you're playing a form team. 3 wins out of 3, absolutely flying. Couldn't have come at a worse time for Nottingham Forest. I've just got to go with form. No wins out of 3, 3 wins out of 3. I've just got to back Bristol City to continue their great form and Forest in absolute turmoil. 2-1 Bristol City, 4 wins out of 4 for the team from Ashton Gate. Next up we move to the Medeski and two teams cracking starts for the season. Reading 3 wins out of 3, Watford 2 wins and a draw. I think this will be a tight game. Reading full of confidence, but Watford will also be full of confidence. I'm going to sit on the fence a bit. I'm going to back a 1-1 draw. Watford haven't conceded a goal. I'm going to back Reading to make that happen, but Watford to get an equaliser and a 1-1 draw, and both teams to remain unbeaten this season. Now we move on to Rotherham United v Huddersfield. This is the tightest game of the weekend for me. Any of the results would not surprise me. I don't know why, I've just got a sneaky feeling for Huddersfield. Got a 1-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest last weekend, and I think they'll be full of confidence. I think that win will give them a lift, and I don't know why. I just think Huddersfield are going to win. Sorry Rotherham fans, I'm going to back a tight 1-0 win to Huddersfield. Next up we move on to the penultimate game of the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday, and it's at Hillsborough between Sheffield Wednesday and Queen's Park Rangers. Sheffield Wednesday got their first defeat of the season away at Bristol City last week. No shame in that. I'm going to back them to bounce back. The -8 still -8 in the points department. They need to start picking points up as soon as possible. I'm going to back them for a tight 2-1 win at home to Queen's Park Rangers, and hopefully soon for Sheffield Wednesday fans they'll be back in the positive. And last but not least, to the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday, we preview Swansea v Millwall. Swansea, with Watford, the only other team not to concede a goal yet in the Championship. Great start, 3 games in the Championship without conceding a goal is a cracking start in anyone's book. This game I don't see many goals at all. Millwall not a free-flowing side, and Swansea definitely aren't either. 1 goal either way is going to settle this game for me. I'm going to back the Swans to get it 1-0 to Swansea at the Liberty Stadium. Next up we move to Sunday, 2 o'clock kick-off between Brentford and Preston North End. Brentford looked very good in their first home game against Huddersfield, and I don't see anything but a Brentford win. Preston poor result last week, and I'm backing them to get a poor result this weekend. 3-1 Brentford, Preston lay consolation, home win. And last but not least, the 12th game of the weekend is a 3 o'clock kick-off between Stoke City and Birmingham City. I don't see much between these two teams, and I'm going to say there's not much between them in the scoreline. 1-1 at the Bet365 Stadium, and a third draw in a row for Aita Karanka and Birmingham City. So that's it for another episode of the Lewis Pickering Football Show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've reviewed Game Week 3 of the Sky Bet Championship, and I've previewed Game Week 4. Let me know in the comments below, have I been way out on someone? Did I not mention someone over the weekend who was unbelievable and you thought I should have mentioned them in the comments? Get your comments in below, I'll reply to every single comment. I love talking about football. Just a little note, with it being international football in 2 weeks' time, what would you like to see on the channel? I've got weekly uploads: Tuesday the Championship, Wednesday my fantasy, and Thursday's Brother v Brother. If there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, please hit that comment button below and give me some suggestions of what you'd like to see on the channel. But yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button. This has been the Lewis Pickering Football Show, and I'll catch you on the next time. Bye.